Yeah, welcome everybody. I first want to address what was said on Saturday after the game. I came in here and talked to you all. I was very disappointed in the game, disappointed in me, and as you all know, I don't handle things well after losses. It's probably the worst times in my life because I've got a spoiled life. And walking off the field, I was really disappointed because we had a great week's practice. We're 3-0. Felt really good about the team, and we made entirely too many mistakes during the ball game. So as I was walking off the field, I thought, I'm responsible for all this. It's on me, so I should ask the players about leadership and if they feel good about me moving forward. And that's something I shouldn't do. I shouldn't put that pressure on those young people at that point. And I'm supposed to be a leader, and probably the worst things I've ever said in my life are after losses. You all have heard most of them. And that's just what I do. So disappointed in me. I should have waited, but the kids were overwhelmingly, no, come on, coach, let's go, let's move forward. And we're doing that, and excited about the future, and love my job, and love these kids, love this place, and that's why I hate losing so much. And didn't really think that much about it after we did it, and moving forward, and looking forward to playing Duke this weekend. But I'm supposed to be a role model for these kids. I'm supposed to take negatives and turn them into positives. You're supposed to learn from losses. I didn't do that very well on Saturday night. And I'm supposed to be a mentor for young coaches, and I didn't do that well either. So disappointed in me. I'll grow from it and not do it again. Can't wait to get back to work tomorrow. I had a great practice yesterday, and obviously got a lot of things to fix. It's interesting, we threw for more yards, the third most yards, I guess, in school history in Jacoby's first real start of a game. He threw for 475 yards and 3 touchdowns. But you can't have 5 turnovers. And one of the turnovers was for an interception for a touchdown. One's a block punt for a touchdown. 2 fumbles by quarterbacks that were inside the 40 that led to touchdowns, an onside kick that hit us in the chest and bounces out. We couldn't have done more things wrong in a game, and then we didn't play well defensively. So you start looking at all the points that we just gave up, and you've got to give credit to James Madison because they played well, and they did a good job, but we didn't respond well at all. But saw a lot of great things with Jacoby. For his first time out there again, I was pleased with him. We put a banged up and very inexperienced offensive line in a tough spot, throwing it 48 times. That's not who we are. So we got Jacoby hit too much as well. Omarion was still Omarion, but we let him get hit too many times behind the line of scrimmage. We lost 7 yards with rushing, but he still had 139. Thought the wide receivers and tight ends really stepped up, even though we did fumble at the 5 going in. I mean, it's just we had so many things that happened poorly. But it started off wrong when we fumbled at the 5. I mean, you can't turn the ball over and get that done. And then the defense played poorly, and we'd been playing so well. So I don't know. I don't know where all that came from, but it's stuff we got to get fixed. We did block a punt, but we had a punt blocked and had the onside kick issues. I was disappointed that we're not 4-0 because it was going to be Duke 4-0 and us 4-0, and a great matchup this weekend. Manny's done a great job at Duke. They're a really good football team. I saw Malik Murphy at Texas. He won 2 games as a starter there. He's got a tremendous arm. He's got an NFL arm. He's big, he's strong, he can throw it. They've got tremendous skill. Their receivers are as good as anybody in the country. Manny's always going to do great on defense, but they're leading the country in tackles for loss, and they're also number 2 in sacks. So with our inexperience up front, playing our 3rd quarterback in 4 games, we got our hands full this weekend. So always fun to play in a rival game. Great to get back to work. I'll keep my mouth shut after losses from now on. Y'all, I may not even come see you all. I may just keep my mouth shut. So Sally told me that I need to keep my mouth shut. So I will. Questions?
You said
Starting
I don't.
off, you kind of addressed some of maybe the confusion that arose with this post-game locker room scene. What exactly did you say to the team?
Let's talk about Duke. I mean, what I said is if you all don't feel like I'm the leader you need, then I'll go do something else. And they said, nah, man, we're in. Let's go. It was overwhelming. I wish I hadn't put them in that spot. So, but that's all it was. And if I was going to quit, I'd have come in here and done it. So we're not talking about that anymore. Let's go to Duke. We got it handled.
It's a question I need to ask, where you said if you would have quit, you would have come in and told us. I mean, with respect to that, the people who were in the locker room, the players and adults left, it is our understanding, thinking you had quit. Are you saying that they misinterpreted what you said in there?
Yes. Yeah, I asked them if they wanted new leadership, and they said no. I backed away to think about it. I told them, let's go forward. Let's get ready for Duke. Right after.
What does that say about the leadership on the players, that they were mature enough to say, hey, let's focus, go on to the next week? I mean, that's something you've been preaching since you've been here. I mean, hey, move forward.
Yeah, they were more mature than I was. So that's what really made me mad. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do, and I got to handle losses better. I promised Sally I'd do it when I came back, and that's something I haven't done very well. I can't stand losing. It makes me physically sick, and I feel responsible, and I put all the pressure on myself to have done it better, and I didn't do that. So that's what's disappointing for me.
But does that make you happy? I guess the bright spot that your players were able to kind of, hey, we lost, let's focus on Duke now.
Yeah, I love my job, and I want to keep doing it, and I'm glad they want me to keep doing it too. So,
Mack, are you concerned that this is something that undermines your position or in the way people perceive the health of the program? What happened in the game, as far as your comments and whether it's misconstrued, whatever?
No, we're in a world of comments and rumors, and I heard and he said and we did, and the only thing I want to do is play better. I mean, that's what we got to do, and I'm proud of the players. They stood up, and like I said, they taught me something.
Because some stuff came out that you're saying was either misinterpreted or just incorrect. How do you go about handling that and fixing that from happening again?
I told them I was wrong and I won't do it again.
No, I'm just saying the interpretation. So
I can't.
the reports that came out. How do you just deal with keeping stuff in the locker room when it's to stay in the locker room?
Things used to stay in the locker room. The locker room was sacred. It's obviously not anymore. So.
Take me through, I mean, you told us, after the loss, you're going to go home, watch film. I mean, take us through what were, the 24 hours between or so that loss and where you are right now. What have you been doing?
I went home. I sent the team of Teamworks and said, hey, sorry, we're moving forward. Let's go. To make sure everybody was on the same page. And that was done probably an hour after I got home, 30 minutes after I got home. For any of you that don't believe it, Jeremy's got it documented. So, and then I started breaking down this game to see what we did wrong, see what we could do better to fix it.
Mack, how different have some of the guys been, I guess, since the events of Saturday? Do you feel the level of buy-in is the same? Like, how have you kind of observed the guys' approach and demeanor since Saturday evening?
I don't understand.
Since Saturday evening, how have you, I guess, observed how the guys have maybe their demeanor, their approach, just how they are around the facility? Do they feel the same? Is it different? Like,
Sure.
how has it been?
Sure. This was handled Saturday afternoon, and we've moved on. Wish we could have had this discussion then, because we've already had a practice. We're working on Duke. I was sitting up there breaking down Duke video before I came down here.
I think you said, I don't know, 4 or 5 times Saturday after the game we were asking you about things that went wrong. What of those I don't knows did you learn that was most troubling about what took place Saturday?
Well, we've got Chip and Jeff going to come in here and tell you all that in a minute. So I'll let them go. The biggest thing is you can't have 5 turnovers and win a game. I mean, and 2 of those were touchdowns. I mean, I can't remember that happening. It's been years if it's happened. And then the onside kick hits us right in the chest. and bounces out, and we lose it, and that's in their territory. The 2 quarterback fumbles were at I think the 27 and the 37. So that was in their territory. So all that just doesn't usually happen. It's just crazy. Us fumbling at the 5. We hadn't been a fumble team going in. We're behind at halftime, going into halftime a lot, so we're throwing with an inexperienced quarterback. We throw one over the middle, they intercept and run back for a touchdown. I mean, it's just crazy stuff that happened.
How would you evaluate how your team handled that swell where they scored a bunch of points fast?
I don't think we handled it well the first half, any of us. And then we came out and played a lot better second half. So I thought they tried hard. They didn't quit. When you go back and look at it, it was just that we messed a lot of things up that we got to fix.
The defensive line played well this first 3 games. Their offensive line really did a good job both running, blocking and pass blocking in that game against Oakland.
Yeah, Chip. Again, I'll let Jeff talk to you about the defense. But we didn't play well. We didn't play well. We really didn't play well at all. Jacoby did a lot of great things, and Omarion stayed Omarion. The receivers caught the ball better. The tight ends caught the ball better. But other than that, we didn't play well.
One other thing, too, with Manny Diaz, obviously, he was with you at Texas. That one didn't end the way he or you probably wanted it. Just what's your relationship, coaching relationship?
Manny and I are good. I've got great respect for him. I think he understands as a head coach. Sometimes things aren't working well, and you got to make changes, and that's just it. He probably understands a lot better now than he did then, since he's been in that position.
Mack, you're notorious for being a player's coach and protecting your players, being very hard on your coaches. How did you deal with them? Did you think that they needed to be loved or really be hard with them?
Well, I am very hard on the coaches, and you have to be careful when it's that bad, and it was bad Saturday. It was just a bad game for all of us. I'm very honest with them, and it's facts, so you got to fix it. I mean, that's just what it is. We took a step back Saturday, and we were doing so well, and we were so excited. I think that's what got me after the game.
Do you feel like the game plan that they had some elements that you weren't prepared for?
Jeff will be here in a minute, and he can tell you that. He and Chip.
Do you feel like this Duke game comes at a perfect time in the sense that gives your team a chance to rally around playing a rival and kind of galvanize and get refocused?
It does. This is a fun game, and it's when you're playing for something special, it's a unique game. And in the 40s, I guess, is when they got the victory bell and brought it out. And 3 of these 5 games that we've played since I've been here have come down to the last play of the game. So these have been tremendous games.
Point, you can analyze film and come up with game plans and prepare. And after a game where an opponent scores 70 points on you, how do you get a team better defensively, or is it just to be better talent? Because you can only look at game film or study a game plan so often until you need maybe better talent on the defensive side.
The hardest thing I think about being a coach, maybe in general, but a college football coach, is that when you watch your team and you think your plans are good and you have a great week's practice and they're so excited about the game and you're getting ready for your 4th win in your mind and you want to be 4-0 going into your rival game, and then it just falls apart. And there are no answers. That's what's so frustrating. I think that's what got me after the game. How does that happen? I mean, how can you go from watching them on Thursday, be excited and throwing and catching and being in the right place, and then you let everybody down? And I'm a person who is who I am, but I don't like letting people down. I let our team down, I let our coaches down, I let our university down. And I hate that. I just hate that I'm the one that did that. And I can't, this week you try to figure out why it happened and you don't let it happen again. But again, there's a lot of the stuff that I can't stand here and answer for you that you would like answers for. And I don't know what got in their head. Why did we fumble for the first time? I don't know. You go back and you can do fundamentals, you can do technique, we talked about distractions in a world now where kids have a lot of distractions every week and people have a lot of distractions. So you just go back to work, do the best you can do.
You mentioned how much losses sort of haunt you. Has that gotten more so with age as you've gotten older, as you coach more, or has it been the same since you were a young coach?
No, it's been that way since I was young. I've always felt responsibility. And like I said, when we decided to come back here and coach, Sally said, the only thing I want to ask you to do is handle losses better. And I promised her I would, and I lied. I don't know. I kept a quote. I keep a quote close to me from Coach Landry that said, you learn from losses. You do, but I have to usually start learning from losses on Monday or Tuesday, not right after the game, because I'm constantly looking at what I could have done during the week, what I could have done during the game to do better, and I think that's what got me on Saturday night.
You have been through, you've had every possible experience you could have in this game. It's your job to get the staff right, get the team right. You have to lead all that, but you have to get yourself right first. After what you went through the other day, which I would imagine you have very few experiences like that in your past, how do you get yourself to the point where you can get them ready?
I'm already back. I've had a lot of situations like that. I've never said what I thought. That was the difference. I don't know why. I think I felt so bad that I just wanted the team to understand, I love you guys and you're working so hard. You shouldn't work that hard and put that product out on the field. That was a bad product we put out on the field, and I'm responsible for it. So I think that's what got me.
We ask athletes this kind of question a lot, but don't ask coaches very often. Was there a moment afterward when you're at home and you're going through the film, you're doing whatever, you thought, okay, here's my fork in the road, I'm moving on from this now? And if so, can you share with us what that was?
No, but every game there's a lot of things that are really positive. I looked at Jacoby coming out of that and said, oh my gosh, he made some great throws and he had pressure, and so we got a chance. We can go back. We ran the ball pretty well when we were throwing it every time, and didn't help O'Martin enough. Still got 139 yards rushing. So, and I saw some plays on defense that I liked, and I saw some busts, and I got to wait till you get back with the coaches on Sunday to figure out what they think happened there and why was the communication bad and why were we worse in this area than we've been for 3 weeks. What happened? And then you can get into all the excuses, and none of them really matter. You know, it's just you gotta win the games, and I think that's the biggest thing.
When the defense does struggle like this, and you're going through a game plan for the next week against Duke, will you talk to the coaches? Will you maybe think about changing the way the offense plays to maybe chew clock more, have more possession time to limit the amount of time the defense has to be out there?
Yeah, we tried to, we played really good complementary football for the first 3 weeks. We got behind so fast. We couldn't. I mean, we were way down fast. And we're not a passing team like we have been. We're a run and play action team. So we had to get completely away from our game plan there. And that's not who we are with a couple of banged up offensive linemen and a coach in the press box because he wasn't healthy enough to be on the sideline to help them. And then they felt that and just kept blitzing with a quarterback that started the first real game of his life. And then defensively, we did better the second half, but it still wasn't great. It wasn't like we had been. Again, Jeff, I've talked to Jeff about it. I've talked to Chip about it, obviously. We met as a staff yesterday, and we met this morning. And so they'll come and talk to you a little bit about what they think went wrong and what they would have done differently.
Mack, aside from the X's and O's, the head-scratching stuff on defense that you saw, the points, the yards, it seemed like they just had guys running into open space all over the place. I mean, as you watched it, in your opinion, was that one of the most, jarring things, was how open these dudes were and just running around uncovered?
Yep. Jeff will be right down. I'm sure he's excited about talking to you about it.
But that's what you saw. I mean,
there were too many people wide open. We had no pressure on the quarterback. We forced 1 turnover. They forced 5. So yeah, I mean, we played poorly. That's what got me. I'm responsible for all that. And now what I do love, I love fixing things. I don't like things to be torn up, but I love fixing things, and I got a lot to fix. So that's what I started doing when I got home. I got myself settled and went back to work.
Hey, Mac, in basketball, if things are going south, coach can call time up and get into play all the days. It seems like it's different in football. There's so many people players, so many things going on. When you lose control of that, is it harder to get back during a game than it is? It might be in a sport with a small group of kids.
Yeah, you got a lot of people involved. And Art, I brought all the defensive coaches up at one time and talked to them together. I had them bring the whole defense up at one time and talk to them together on the sideline. You just don't see it as much like you do in basketball. But there's a whole lot of people that you're trying to talk to. And like discussions like we just had, some people hear one thing, some people hear another. Some interpret things differently. I mean, that's the same thing on the sideline. And you have to be careful, as I've said in the past, when things are going bad and you beat them up, it can go worse. So, and I did think at halftime the coaches got together and we did play better the second half. So that was a positive.
When you get the coaches kind of come together and really responsible for the game plan and the kids and all that, is your role just to get mad at them or get trying to, you know what I mean? But your role is not technical, but what is it?
My role is to be responsible for everything that happens in this building with this team.
Yeah, but during the game, when you have to
During the game, I do whatever I feel like is needed after 47 years to pick them up and get them in the right place. Because I thought we'd still win the game at halftime. I did. And with 11 minutes left to go, I thought we'd win the game. And then they kicked a field goal, and it made it a couple tougher there, but we were moving the ball. We blocked a punt for a touchdown. I really felt like we'd still win the game till the end.
Did anything surprise you about Jacoby, about some of the throws he made or some of the things he did, given his lack of real game experience?
I know. I was really surprised, and even more so, watching the game, I was overloaded, obviously, with all the things that were going wrong. Watching the game when I got home, he made some great throws. I mean, and he got hit and made some great throws. So we got to protect him better. That's one thing that came out of the game. But I was so impressed with him. He kept his composure. He didn't get frustrated. He even came back after the interception for a touchdown, which he'd like to have back. So I'm really excited about moving forward with him because I think it's he's got a chance to be really good. He just hadn't had a chance to play.
Can you use the whole playbook with him?
Yeah, I think it's probably a yes and no, Andrew. He wasn't here in the spring, so we will be able to use the whole playbook. We had to get what we thought he could do as the third quarterback and just let him do that early, and then we took the reps away from him and gave them to Max and Connor, so he still hadn't practiced a whole lot. But he was really impressive in practice last week. I thought what I saw in practice, if he could take it to the game, we would be really excited, and he did that. I thought he's one of the shining things that came out of the game. And then Alex Taylor caught a ball, and Jordan Shipp caught a ball. So there's some really positive things that came out.
Mack, on the subject of protecting Jacoby this week, what does your offense need to be cognizant of for as active as Duke has been in the backfield this year?
Manny, he's multiple. They blitz. They're number one in the country in tackle for losses. As I said, they're number two in the country in sacks. So he will absolutely come after us.
Mack, you beat them 13-3 personally. You said they have a really good team. They're undefeated. It seems like the perfect scenario for Duke. How do you, even if you're one side, you worry about it because they're so good. With all of this, it seems like it's a perfect situation. But them, and how do you get them ready to meet that?
I think you just get ready to go. It's Duke. They know that. These kids have been here. They understand the victory bell. They understand the importance of this game to our fan base, and they understand they're good. So it's one thing that with social media, kids hear everything. So they'll see and hear a lot about Duke that normally they might not, and I'm sure they'll be the pick in the game. So our guys will be ready to play.
What's the most important thing? How you start the game after this? Better be how you start.
Well, I said that we needed to start this one good. We were down, or they scored 25 points first quarter. So, that's a good question, Art, because when you say you got to start the game good and you don't, you still got to win the game. So what you want to do is start the game well, but it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to. There's extra emphasis every week, and we haven't started well this year. I remember when I was here before and we were 11-1, people griped that we didn't start well. I mean, so you'd rather start well for sure, but if you don't, you can't just say, we didn't start well, so we're going to lose the game. You got to figure it out and go for it.
Mack, what was your level of disappointment, frustration, anger in the special teams blunders, and how are you trying to get that fixed? Because those seemed like they were a big problem.
I think the thing that got me walking off the field was that we've been the best we've been in special teams for 3 weeks. So why did those two things show up? And we did everything else well. We even blocked a punt for a touchdown, which we haven't done around here in a long time. So why did those two show up? Yeah. And then we fumble a ball at the 5. They did a good job of knocking it out, punching it out. We've protected the ball. We haven't fumbled balls. Why did we fumble a ball? So I think it was just the overload of stuff that happened in that game that hadn't been happening. And then you try to figure out where'd it come from. And then in my mind, you go back and try to figure out what could you have done last week to have fixed it or changed it. I don't know. I thought we were so prepared, and I was so excited about the game that's what I think. That's what I think gets you. It's just like with Art. We talked about all week. Let's start fast. Let's go tempo. Let's get it going. And here we are. I think it's 25-21 at the end of the first quarter or something like that. But we weren't stopping them at all. And since we didn't stop, and we had a bust on the first play. Somebody's supposed to hit the quarterback, and he runs the ball for 40 yards down the boundary. So obviously we didn't get started like we wanted to. But I think that's the most frustrating thing about coaching, when you see it done well during the week, and then it's not done well during the game. What's the disconnect? Where did we miss? And that's where I get so frustrated, because I'm responsible for all of it. And where did I miss it? And what have I got to do this week to make sure it's fixed?
Staying on what Adam asked about the punt block, we talked to Larry Porter back in August, and he asked about the punts that were blocked last year. He said they were personnel issues. That's a kid made a mistake, and that's how it happened. Is that what happened Saturday with the punt that was blocked? And if not, is there maybe something in the scheme that needs to be tweaked? Because this has happened a lot.
Yeah, there's so many different looks in punt. They had an extra guy to the outside, and we didn't get it off as fast as we should have. And it's funny that if these things were easy to fix, if it was just personnel, then you'd fix it. It's always something different. And this was a different look. And you got to get it off faster if it is a different look. The onside kick was a hard kick. It wasn't an onside kick. It was like a squib, and hits us in the chest and bounces back. I mean, how many times does that happen? So it happened with us against Alabama in the national championship game. We tried to squib it and hit their tight end on the front line, and we got the ball. Everybody thought we onside kicked. We didn't. We were squibbing deep, and it hit the guy in the chest. I took credit for it. I said, yeah, it was an onside kick. But I think that's what's crazy. I mean, they were kicking it hard, and it hits us in the chest and bounces right back to them. So you got to try to fix it all. You got to tell your players it was a bad day. Like I said, I told them I need to keep my mouth shut after games, and I go to a dark place, and I usually get away from the team. Some coaches don't even talk to the team after a loss, because and I have to talk to you all, and that's not pleasant. When I come in here mad at the world and mad at me and mad at everybody, and then I'm supposed to say nice things. So even at 73, you can learn from some hard lessons.
Mack, you mentioned after the game that, fans can leave whenever they want, coaches and players have to stay out there and just keep going. Were there any players in the course of the game when things started to get bad that did impress you with the fact that they didn't lose their heads?
Yeah.
And stayed?
And Michael, that's another smart aleck comment I shouldn't have made after the game. I mean, my smart aleck comes out when I get mad and frustrated, and because that didn't make any sense. But I thought all the players stayed engaged. I told them at halftime we needed more energy on the sideline, and they did that. These are not good kids. These are wonderful kids. And I think that's what kills me so much. As hard as they work, coaches get paid. And I got that. And coaches work really hard. But as hard as those kids work, my whole life is dedicated to helping them win and have fun. Their lives are better when they win. And that's my purpose. And when you fail at your purpose on a Saturday, that kills you. It just really hurts and takes away. And then I'm supposed to be a mentor for them, an example for them about moving forward, and I didn't even do that well Saturday after the game. So, like we said, we can all do better, and the one thing I've always tried to do is admit the mistakes that I make and move forward with them and correct them, and we all learn from them. And I told the players, learn from my mistakes. I'm still making them. So I tell you all to handle things. Don't say something when you're mad. Don't say something when you're frustrated. And here I am. So they kind of laughed at me and said, we know you. So I think they understood.
Is that something where they, not JMU I'm saying, but a team with the squib at, I think it was Gibson McRae, do you think that's something where they just scheme you up and they say, that guy doesn't have the hands? You know what I'm saying? Like, you think they picked him out?
No, because Adam, they kicked it so hard. He should have let it go. And then we get it at the tight end gets it at a different level. I think it was a squib. Onside kick would have been an easy ball rolling to him like, end over end.
Low squib.
Is a low squib, and that's what to do.
Is what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know.
It was one of those days where there was a lot of I don't knows leaving the stadium. And if probably like me after the Alabama game, if we asked Coach, he'd probably say, "Oh yeah, we picked it out and onside kicked it to him." I'd say that if I was him.
Matt, is there a chance that they knew much more about you than you knew about them? I don't know how many transfers they had. They kind of probably laid low the first two games. Then they had a whole week off to look at your 3 weeks of film.
And there's no question about that. But again, that's an excuse. That's fair. They scored 13 points against Gardner-Webb. Yeah.
They probably didn't show them anything.
No, they didn't. But still, that's our responsibility to make adjustments during the game and do the things we need to do. And I was frustrated with that too. So.
It sounds like you feel like this game was more isolated problem versus, I don't know, like a pattern is the right word, linking it to some of the previous disappointing losses you've had. Georgia Tech, Virginia last year come to mind. So are you saying like this one doesn't feel anything like those ones at all?
That's a hard question. All the losses stink, and they all are failures on our part to have done the things that we needed to do to win. So I shouldn't say that. When we went undermanned to the Holiday Bowl against Oregon without coaches, without players, and had a chance to win with 19 seconds left. I was proud of those kids when we left there. Clemson, they were number 1 in the country the first year we were here, and we decided to go for 2 instead of kick the extra point to try to tie them. I was proud of those kids. So if we play our best and play against somebody that's better than we are and they beat us, I'm okay. It just really gets me when we don't play our best. Because I feel, again, like that there's something that I missed that could have helped them. But levels of losses, other than somebody that's better than you are and you had a chance to win, levels of losses are all in the same pile. They all go in the same bucket.
I feel like it's the ones where you guys are the better team. You know, what would we like to throw out the 10-point favorite type thing? I know it's a point spread, but there's something to it, right? Like those are the ones I think that are the most puzzling, at least to us.
Yeah, and let me help you with that. It's not the best team. It's the best team on that day. Yeah. We see upsets every week. We don't think about them unless they're ours. We don't Northern Illinois beats Notre Dame and loses to Buffalo. I mean, so if you start looking at this stuff, it drives you nuts, drives you crazy. And what you're doing, you're dealing with young people that have more distractions in their life than they've ever had. Our players go to class, they got girlfriends, they got parent stuff, they got stuff all over the place, and then they've got football. So, and then they've got people telling them you're better than this team, and you're going to beat this team. And then that other team hears it, and then they get mad. And one thing about Carolina, and it's always been this way, is that people hate Carolina and they want to beat us. It was a national championship for them, and I thought they played with more intensity in that area than we did, and that bothered me too.
Mack, Kobe Pacewell looked like his wheels might have been moving a little better this past game. I mean, did you think he might be starting to get back to the form that we've seen from him? Because he looked good at times, I thought.
Yeah. Adam, when you think he breaks a bone in his right foot maybe the first time against air, he's just running. And I watched him on grass, and he grabs his foot. And he's maybe our leading receiver. He's doing great at that time. And he can't play for, 6-8 weeks, something like that. And then he comes back for the bowl game, and he's running the exact same thing, and the same bone in his left foot gets broken. And then he has trouble and can't go through spring practice because he's got soreness. So when you think about a young guy who wants to be a pro player, who wants to be a great player for us, and he's got 2 non-contact injuries that really took his year away, I've had 8 knee operations. I mean, after I got hurt and I went back out there is some part of your mind that says, what's going to happen next? And is this foot well? And it's still sore? And if I plan on it? So it takes you a long time emotionally and mentally to get back to where you can turn it loose and go. And to your point, I thought Saturday was the first time that I'd seen him do that since he got hurt, the first time. And I worried about him mentally, just because I could tell he wasn't himself, and I've been there. Certain times I can tell kids that I know how you feel and I don't, because I haven't gone through what they're going through, so I quit doing that. I know how an injured player feels when he doesn't get to play. I know how an injured player feels when he's trying to get back on the game and in the game mentally. I do know that, so I can really help our injured players by experiencing the same thing for me.
You mentioned the offensive line. Was there that group's fitness level what you wanted to see when you guys are running so many offensive plays over the course of the game?
I'll let Chip talk more about it, Michael, to be technical with you before I'll waste your time if we start getting into pieces, and he can tell you all of it. I thought we had some protections that we busted and had a free guy, and that's something we got to clean up, because Duke will bring a lot of safeties and linebackers this week.
Mack,
But Chip he'll be more technical with that.
My bad. You mentioned Jordan Shipp and Alex Taylor earlier. They got some run the other day. With some of the injuries that you do have to that wide receiver room, how ready do you feel those guys are? Because I know Shipp did have a injury a little while ago, but how ready do you feel those two are to kind of step in there against Duke?
Well, we think they're doing good. That room's been just banged up. I mean, it's been hard to keep one out there, and Vari did some good things on Saturday. He made a couple of iffy decisions on kickoff returns that we got to get straightened out, but that's his 3rd game ever. But he ran a reverse and did really well. Alex and Jordan are playing well now. Both of them have been hurt and missed some time, so it was great to see them back. But that room's in good shape for the future. We've just got to make sure that we get it going. I thought JJ played well Saturday. I thought both tight ends played well Saturday. Again, we've got one of our best players, Bryson, drops a first down on a 3rd and 16, and you just don't see him do that. So it was a very uncharacteristic day for us. But I think it's all there, and that's the exciting thing about moving forward. This offense can be really, really good after what we saw from Jacoby on Saturday, because if we can throw it that well and get back to where we were running it like we were, we have a chance to be real good.
Yeah, and it seems like Jacoby's kind of has the ability to spread it around a little bit, I guess, in comparison to those first 3 or maybe first 2.5-ish kind of games that you all had.
Yeah, the receivers will be excited that they got some balls. The ball, we opened the game with a deep pass to Christian Hamilton. It was open. He hit Kobe on a seam pass that was a great throw over toward the press box side, right in front of our bench. He got hit a few times and got rid of it. Officials are calling roughing the passer more than ever in the history. And I asked them, and it's funny, the AAC officials that we had for Charlotte didn't call it, and they hit Connor twice right in the face. But now they're telling us, I don't know how you rush the passer anymore. Because if you touch him, like when Dez hit him with both arms, they said he shouldn't have extended his arms. I don't know what you do. And then if you tackle him, if you hit him, you're not supposed to fall on him. I don't know how a 300-pound guy distributes his weight differently if he's coming at full speed to hit him. So that we turned in a couple of those, but that's where we're trying to be aggressive on pass rushing. We're trying to get to the quarterback, and now you can't touch him more than ever before. So that's a new thing that Ted and our defense is dealing with now, is what does that mean? How aggressive can you be and not knock him down?
Since the JMU game ended, what has the substance and tone of your conversations with Bubba and the Chancellor, what have those been like?
I told Bubba I apologized, and the Chancellor's great. I love Lee. Lee texted me after the game and said, sorry about the game. You don't need to be apologizing to me. He's wonderful. He went to Minnesota with us, and I said, we're going to get back at 5 in the morning or 6. He said, I'm all in. So, and he was. But I told Bubba I apologize. I shouldn't have gotten emotional. I shouldn't have. I was trying to do what was right. I always try to do what's right. I normally slow down when I get mad because I'm not a good person when I'm mad. I don't handle things well. I don't say the right stuff when I'm mad. I have a really bad temper, and I have learned that that's why I get by myself and I keep my mouth shut when I'm mad after losses. And in this time, it just grabbed me, and it was a mistake. Like I said, I can't change it. What you do is you learn from it. I can learn at 73 that I messed up. It's kind of like nobody in this room's been in that situation, so it's easy to say, well, that was stupid. Come join me sometime. When you're so disappointed in yourself, and you've let so many people down, and you're a guy who likes to please, then that's wrong. And I wasn't walking there to quit. I was walking there to say, hey, we stunk. If this isn't working, help me, man. I'll get out of here. That's what my purpose was, and it didn't turn out well. We shouldn't be talking about me. We should be talking about the kids.
And what were Bubba's words back?
Bubba was great. He probably agreed with me. I don't think he said much, but hey, we're good. Don't worry about it. All I can do is apologize and move forward. That's it. Did I handle it right? No. Do I admit I handled it wrong? Yes, 100%. Do I wish I hadn't done it? Yeah, but I did it. So I learned from it. I won't do it again. I may come in here and say no comment to you all from now on. If it's a loss, I'll say no comment. No comment, no comment, no comment, no comment. And if I do, you'll understand why, because that's better than the answer I would have given, because I don't handle that very well. So, and it's amazing. I feel kind of funny at 73. You can still learn. They say old dogs and new tricks. I guess that's me. I told the players, I laughed with them yesterday and said, you all handle this stuff a lot better than I do. So I think it's really good when you're really emotional, most of the time. Sometimes it's not. After losses like that, it's not. And like I said, Sally will probably get a muzzle next time and say, come here, boy, keep your mouth shut. In fact, Sally was funny. She said, should I have stepped in and told you to keep your mouth shut when you get mad? And I said, yeah, you should have. And she said, well, you'd have been mad at me if I had. And I said, yeah, I would have. So she said, well, next time. I said, there won't be a next time. I'm good. I learned my lesson. I was just mad. And when I get mad, I need to go duck somewhere and hide. I don't need to talk to anybody. In fact, Sally said after a loss, I don't usually talk to anybody except you all till Tuesday. And that's usually the truth. Yes, yes. Oh, I've had some opportunities to be mad, but that one just got me because we practiced good. I mean, it came from nowhere. And I wanted us to be 4-0, and we've been, Jeremy told me we'd been 4-0 4 times since 1980. I mean, it hadn't been easy. It's hard to be 4-0. And I was so excited about that it just got me. It just got me. So.
All right. Does a game like that make you think, what am I still doing this for? Why am I still getting so worked up?
No, it would get me if I didn't care. I mean, I care that much. I want to win. I want to do what's right. I want this place to have good football. It's what I came back for. And I want to teach the kids lessons. And I taught them one from a negative standpoint so they can see what not to do from their coach. And that's embarrassing to me. I shouldn't have done it. But like I said, I can handle the weight of my shoulders. I messed it up. I admitted I messed it up. I'm moving forward with it. After this conversation, I'm really embarrassed that Duke game, and we're talking more about me than we are the kids in the game. And that I put myself in that position. We shouldn't be doing that. It's about the kids and it's about the game, not about me. And I don't want to ever talk about me, and here we are because I messed up. We're talking about me. So, but no, I love my job. I'm planning on doing it. You won't hear it again. I wasn't trying to quit. I was trying to say, what's wrong, man? I can't believe this thing got messed up so much. Am I messing it up? That was my purpose, and it didn't come out that way.
But you will talk to us after a loss.
I don't know. If Jeremy says, he's not, if Jeremy says, he's not coming, then you'll know it's fair. And really and truly, no, you all like for me to say stupid stuff because then you can write about it. So so you need to be in here to mess up sometimes. So, but no, I will always come. I have never missed a press conference, so I'm not going to do that. I will mature and try to do better next time, so I won't make an idiot of myself. It does happen. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen when you're responsible to be leading a bunch of young men, and that's the good thing is I told them, do as I say, don't do as I do. But it was a great learning experience for them too, and they have been unbelievable with their support. So I mean, they were, and that's important too. If they'd said, yeah, it's not working, I got it. I want them to win. This is more important. This place and this football team and those kids are so much more important than I am. That was the message on Saturday. Really, I want our place to win, and I want us to be proud of our program.